So welcome, Yoram. Yoram from Arizona, the US, and he is well known as personal development samurai. So I truly welcome you, Yoram, on this platform, where inside this specific Facebook community, what we are going to do, we are going to add value as per your experience since 1989. You are delivering value to entrepreneur business owners and lot many things. You have been best-selling author twice in Amazon. So that's great to have you here, in fact, Yoram. So yeah, so we would like to hand over this stage to you, and you take it your inside your command completely. So welcome once again, Yoram. Please go ahead. Anyone can do. Laugh and refuel yourself with this information from this.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to speak to your community. It's an honor to meet each and every one of you. You may see me shifting my eyes briefly because I have Zoom on one camera and I have Facebook Live on the other camera. So that is, the Facebook camera isn't going to see me, but I'm going to see your comments. And that's the important part. If you have questions, I like you to feel free and encouraged to put these questions in the feed. And even if I don't get to answer all of them live, I will answer all of them after the fact. And even if you see this as the recording and you know that I'm not watching it at the same time, you can still put in questions, which I'll be happy to answer. Because at the end of the day, what's happening in the world right now, it's very interesting, and I believe wholeheartedly that we are actually all ready for it, but most of us don't know that. Most of us don't feel ready. Most of us feel a little bit shocked of what's happened, and I know that was true 100 times more back in March, where suddenly the whole world stood still and we all went into a state of what in the world is going on right now? Is it the end of the world? Is it the end of humanity? Are we gonna see 200 million people dead or something? And no, we didn't. And I don't count that as a result of being too smart about it or too lucky about it. It's just what it is. We didn't. We are where we are. But I'm here to tell you that because this is a business community, because this is about business, everything that I'm going to share with you today can be applied to any other area of life. And I am going to talk about business, but understand this, the same principle applies to your health. The same principle applies to your relationships. The same principle applies to your spiritual world or your environment or you and yourself and your hobbies and your interests. It's the very same process. So whether you're looking to start a business, and a lot of people are looking to start businesses now because honestly, because a lot of people lost their jobs and because a lot of people got to think about it, because COVID-19 in many ways has been a wake-up call for all of us. And it's been a wake-up call to life is short and it could go away like this. And we all get these little wake-up calls every once in a while because we hear about somebody dying, we hear about a car crash, we get into a small car crash and our mind goes, oh my God, that could have been so much worse. But this was a global one and everybody got it at the same time, and that feels different. So we got to experience that firsthand, and a lot of people are looking to start a business, whether it is the main business or a side business. Now, for other people, they're not looking to start a business. For other people, it is a matter of, well, they're lost a lot of income in their existing business. I
Mhm.
have a friend here. I'm in San Diego right now, and I have a friend who uh, had a business where 50%, a half of his revenue came from one large contract.
Mhm.
And that contract was lost. So suddenly his business was cut in half. So he's looking to turn around the dynamic and start growing again. And then there are people who have just working businesses. And their approach to the situation is, well, in my niche and in my kind of business and in my line of work, what's going on right now is an opportunity. So they're looking to capitalize on the opportunity in a fully ethical way, not to capitalize on the, not to take advantage of anyone, but just to say this is a perfect opportunity for my business to grow. Let me help more people and let me grow my business. So in
Mhm.
all three cases, the principles of life design and the life design method are the same. So let me tell you just for a moment about where I'm coming from. So I was born and raised in Israel, and I had an interesting childhood. And what was interesting about it is that at the age of 9, somebody inadvertently watched me, and I, without thinking twice, did something on the way from school home in the street. And he asked me, "Hey kid, what are you doing?" And I told him I was tracing the patterns around the trunk of a pine tree and marveling at the patterns that I see in there.
Mhm.
And he looked at me kind of weird and he goes, "I need to talk to your parents." And they had me assessed and they decided that I was what they called a genius.
Mhm.
Now, I always tell this story with a smile, and I go, I was off the hook on the IQ scale, but they didn't invent the EQ scale. Fortunately for me, or maybe not, because had they invented the EQ scale, I wouldn't be able to get on it. I was a kind of a shy kid who kept to himself to the side. But anyway, what happened was they sent me to university when I was 10 years old.
All
They
right.
assessed me when I was 9. By 10 years old, I was in university learning computer science. And by the time I was 20, I had a career, I had a degree, I had everything laid out for the rest of my life. There was one problem and one problem only. I don't really like computers.
Yeah. Okay.
And and the problem was I couldn't go home and tell my parents that their pride and joy son, who's like the computer genius, doesn't want to be in computer land anymore. And I struggled with it. I struggled with it for almost 30 years. And I led a parallel career between personal development, which very early on at 21, I recognized this is my thing. This is what I need to do. This is why I'm even alive. This is my life purpose.
Wow.
But how can I leave the high tech world and go and do that? And I don't have the support of my parents, which, by the way, I probably would have had their support had I summoned the guts to talk to them about it, but I didn't. Because since I was so young, I just knew that they were so proud of my being so smart and so savvy with computers. So it took me a long time to make a transition. And
Mhm.
that's the key point. I learned much about transition and I started to engage with personal development and get deeper and learn it and teaching it even voluntarily. It was my hobby. I taught personal development courses voluntarily since 1989.
Yeah.
Communications, business, sales, entrepreneurship, leadership, all of that. And so life is an interesting thing. And some of you would say God, and some of you would say something, else maybe. But life has its own capabilities with which it steers you where it wants you to go.
True.
And if you don't listen, right? And if you don't listen quietly, then you're going to listen to a little bit of a harsher reminder. So my harsher reminder was in 2001.
Okay.
I was already in San Diego. I was a director of strategic alliances for a large publicly traded software and hardware manufacturing company. And I lost my job.
Hmm.
And I lost my job, and I didn't have much experience in seeking jobs because I'm very stable. I stay long in every tenure of mine.
Hmm.
And so it took me a while, but I found another job, and I met with them a few times. And then I met with the board of directors because I actually convinced them that what they need was not a project manager. What they needed is they need somebody to start a professional services division for the entire company.
Wow.
And I met with the board, and they say, yeah, we love the idea. It's approved. We're going to do this, and we're going to hire you, Yoram, to do that. And that was Friday. And 4 days later on Tuesday, or 5 days later on Tuesday, it was 11th of September of 2001. And the business world in the United States stood still,
Hmm.
stopped breathing. Everybody went into a shock. And a day later, the chief technology officer of that company where I was going to open that division told me, Yoram, we're not going to hire anyone for the next year, at least. And at first I was in shock. At first I wanted, you know, how when we're in shock and we sense danger and it's a crisis, we want to either fight it or we want to run away, or we want to hide and try and make sure that maybe it goes away.
So I think
But
this.
after a day or so, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is the day when entire world was bit terrified, and we know it was 11/9. It was US people call it 9/11. This was 11 September when Twin Tower was collapsed. Right, Yoram?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
When, you know, a bunch of terrorists took airplanes and flew into the towers and collapsed them. Thousands of people died. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter where you live in the world. We all know what acts of terror are. And this was one of them. And it was big, and it was in the heart of New York where people didn't expect it. Anyway, I was sitting there, and after a couple of days, I realized that I just needed to accept it and move on. So I sat down to figure out what was important to me and what I wanted to do. And I decided to become an entrepreneur.
wow.
And I started my own IT services company, serving networks of computers and maintaining them and managing them for other people. So it was an outsourced IT model.
Hmm.
And I grew that company, and I grew it successfully. I grew it year over year, consistently for 12 years. And my first objective was to make sure that, even then, to make sure that no client has more than 20% of my business. Because otherwise, then my business is susceptible. One client decide that they don't like me, and my business suffered tremendously. And the problem was that I started with one client and a few smaller ones. So that client was actually 80% of my revenue in the first year. So I recognized this was really, really vulnerable. And I started to work to make sure that nobody has a lot of a big share of my revenue. And I grew it. I grew it year over year for 12 years. And then I sold it. And then when I sold it, that was when I decided to go and be 100% of my time a coach and a teacher and teach people how to be successful
True.
and how to be decisive. Because I didn't want anyone to wait 30 years to do what they want in life. like I did. So I started it. And then over the years, I actually formalized the process that I went to. So I want to repeat my story through the process of life design to highlight what actually happened. Right?
Wow, wow, amazing. Amazing to know that life design process for which you are talking about that has been brought from your own story and you think that is going to serve to many. That's super awesome. People watching out over here, I want you to give us a love or thumbs up or care, whatever you feel like, because this is really phenomenal that when you deliver something for the masses and that to come from someone who has experienced it and have added value in multiple lives, and those things are given to you and spatially given to you just for free. How should we value them, and how should we be ready to receive them? So with this high level of energy, what I want you, each one of you watching out over here, please give us or give Yoram, our guest, a lot of love, lot of thumbs up, and lots of care. And now, yes, Yoram, sorry to interrupt, but would want you to, feel welcomed in that way because you are going to deliver us a lot of phenomenal value using this platform. Yes, please go ahead. It's all yours now. Thank you. Yes, Yoram, please go ahead.
Absolutely. I love it, and I thank you, and I thank all of you. And yeah, I wouldn't want to teach anyone anything that I never experienced on my own successfully. And even then, I'm going to try and make sure that it works, which I have over the time. So let's go back. And by the way, take notes. And I uh, purposefully put the graphic behind me so that you can even copy that graphic, because that is the process that everybody in transition, everybody in a business turnaround situation, everybody who wants to increase their business, and everybody who wants to apply the same process to any other area of their lives, right? So let me take relationship for an example. You can use the same verbs with the word relationship. You may want a new relationship. You may want to turn around the situation in your relationship. You may want to improve your relationship. Leadership, same story. Health, same story. You don't start your health, but sometimes we need to turn it around. So, okay, so what happened? What happened back there in 2001? Actually, it's starting with the fact that I got into a crisis. Because what is a crisis? A crisis is danger together with a change. And by the way, as I said, take all these notes, but also know that at the end of it, I'm going to ask you to actually, if you like, I'm going to offer you to work together for the whole next week. And it's a gift to you. It's not going to cost you anything. But I want
Thank
you
you.
to make sure that you have the notes in case you don't take that offer. So I was in crisis. Crisis is a change and danger put together. Now you have a crisis. My change was on 11th of September, when the economy and everything in the US stopped and went into a shock. The change was the company that I was sure I was going to be hired by wasn't going to hire me. That is what I needed to accept. And once I accepted it, then I could go back into this. I could go back into the discovery phase. And the discovery phase was me sitting down saying, okay, all right, well, in order to figure out what I want to do next, I need to go back to the basics. I need to go back to who I am, what's important to me in life, how do I want to show up, what are my values. So I sat down and I said, okay, so my values are self-expression. My values are education, creativity, leadership, loyalty, unity. These are my values. And I, based on my values, decided how I want to show up. And I decided that I want to become an entrepreneur where I can express my values. And I'm going to stop here for a moment, just asking whether are we still online, because I see you disappearing and reappearing, Gaurav.
I'm online. I was just putting you on the bigger screen. So yeah, excuse me for that. Yeah, please go ahead.
All right, that's fine. As long as that's good, right? So the first thing is you're gonna go, and the process that's called life design is a cyclical process. You're gonna go from discovery to decision, design, doing, and delivering, and then you're back at discovering, because when you complete a step in your life, when you complete a chapter in your life, what's gonna happen is life is going to throw at you a bigger challenge because you graduated. It's like a video game. Welcome to level 38. You just cleared level 37. I'm going to give you a bigger challenge. But life is like that.
True.
Your reward for solving a problem is typically a bigger problem. And now we can be cynical about it, or we can take another approach and say, that's what we're here. We're here to grow. We are here to mature. We're here to, and some people believe, some people don't believe that we come back after we're done, and that we specifically come back to relearn what we didn't learn the first time. So why not learn the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go back, and the reason why I share that is because when you finish the circle and go back to discovery, that's the time to discover something deeper about who you are that you've never seen so far, that you are able to see right now because you completed the previous challenge. Now, life isn't cynical, so life is not going to give us a challenge we cannot solve. Well, we don't always do. We need to be willing to do that. We need to step up to the challenge. And even when I say the term step up, it's like we need to grow, we need to become the person that can handle a bigger challenge. So based on our values, and that is the discovery phase, it's introspective. It's based on the challenge at hand, based on the change that I accepted, that created what is the crisis. I lost my job, I lost my business, whatever the crisis is. And based on my values, who I want to be, how do I want to show up in the world, but most of all, what do I think my purpose here is? So life purpose is a huge topic. It's a topic for a whole different conversation. And some people believe that we are born with a life purpose. Some people believe that our soul chooses a life purpose before we're born. So these are very similar, but this is like an assigned life purpose versus a chosen life purpose. Some people say, well, I don't think that's true. I don't buy into it, but I know that when I have a purpose, my life seems to work better. So we need to choose. And the good news is, either way, whatever you believe, you need to find what it is, commit to it, and then execute on it. In the introspective, in the discover phase, this is what we do. You discover or adopt a life purpose. But then it's the time to make a decision. And you need to make two decisions. Simple, but as you know, nothing happens until you make a decision.
True.
Nothing. You've seen that in your life over and over again. Nothing happens until you make a decision. And in the life design method, you need to make only two decisions, but they're important and they're big ones. Number one is, who do you want to become? Who do you want to become? And it's a decision, because once you decide that, then you need to start practicing acting like the person you want to be. And when I sat down and I wanted to become an entrepreneur, that was new to me. I needed to practice it. I didn't always make the right choices. I didn't always do the right things in my business. I had to grow it by trial and failure and learning and all of that good stuff. So that's number one. And number two comes even before that. So number two says, even given that the fact that you have a purpose, and let me give you 10 seconds about what I think a purpose is or how it looks like. A purpose is something abstract and it's rather small. It's not a whole lot of talking. My purpose is transformation through education. I'm here to educate people and thereby allowing them to transform. I said it twice in two different ways. So transformation through education, that's three words.
Wow.
And I believe that life purpose should be more like a title. Very short, very to the point, but the downside, and it's not really a downside, but the repercussion of that is that it's abstract. And you need to translate it into something concrete. And the way you translate it is you decide on a project that would express your purpose. Now that's
Absolutely.
a lot of abstract idea, right? But let me give you an example to make it real if you're a little bit unhappy with abstracts. If you take, for example, Thomas Edison.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't meet the person, he's long gone, but just from what I read about his life, I think it would be my guess, might not be true. I think his life purpose was application of science.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is he wasn't necessarily a discoverer of science
Mm-hmm.
as much as he was interested in how to apply it in things that are going to be useful. And so he made up projects that would express that purpose. So he said, well, I'm going to make a project and invent the light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was done with that, he invented the telegraph. And
True.
when he was done with that, he invented the gramophone. And he had one thing after another, and he applied science rather than inventing it, right? So you need to come up with a project that expresses your life purpose. And by the way, when you do that, you have just brought in another topic, which is again another conversation. But once you adopted a purpose and you know how to express it, then once you have successfully expressed your purpose, you are going to experience fulfillment. Because the only way to experience fulfillment is if there is a purpose around that you can fulfill. But once you completed the project, which expresses your purpose, you're going to experience fulfillment in your heart. And don't we all want to do that?
Absolutely.
So just two decisions to make. What is going to be a project that is going to express my purpose? And who do I need to become in order to rise to that challenge and be able to handle that project? Because what do we normally say? We look at the project and we put it on a pedestal and we go, that's too big for me. Now we're sneaky little liars. We don't think that's too big for us. We think we're too small for it. It doesn't sound right. We don't want to say that out loud. And we say, no, that's too big for me. Well, it's very opportune that I'm talking to you, because if Gandhi would think that way, you wouldn't have a country,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't look at something and say that's too big. You can look at something and say, who do I need to become? And how do I need to go and express and verbalize and take action to express my values so I get closer to that? And when you become that big that you can handle that kind of a project, you just handle it. So with these two decisions in mind, then you can go into the design phase. And the design phase is the simple stuff that we all learn in business schools. What is your goal? What is your plan? How are you going to describe it in a way that enrolls people in buying your product? How are you going to talk about it in a way that enrolls people in using your service or enrolling people in helping you?
True.
And you know how to get to these answers? You don't get to these answers by taking a marketing course, although marketing courses have their values. You start to get to these answers by deciding in the previous steps who you want to become, and then ask yourself, okay, well, if my question is, how do I talk about my project so that people would want to help me? You change the question just slightly, and you go, how would the person that I am becoming, because you already made the decision, you are becoming. It's no longer you want to become. This is becoming now. How is the person that I am becoming going to describe the project so that people would want to help me? And that's how you grow up. You stretch and you grow up and you try and, and you practice. And by the way, practice means, just linguistically, practice means you're going to fail half of the time, because if you wouldn't fail once, then it wouldn't be practice, would it? It would be just doing it.
Right. True. True.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now you have a design, you have a decision, you have a goal, you have a plan how to get there, you know how to talk about it, you know how to enlist help, you know how to market, you know how to get yourself excited about it, because remember, it started with your values. I don't know, one person, when they found their correct values, you start talking about them. I'm talking about all of this with just like a half a page of notes. In fact, I could talk about it with the graphic alone. Why? It's not because I did it 1,000 times. It's because I'm talking about my values. I'm
Right.
talking about self-expression. Ever thought about what self-expression means? It means you're going to find that self, you're going to discover it, and then you're going to express it through a purpose and a project. I'm talking about about education. That's a top value of mine. So the person that you are becoming, how is that person going to express and verbalize and talk to people about what's happening? Okay, well, once you have a plan and you have the steps and all of that, you start doing it. That's it. That's the action step and the correction step. You take an action, you look at the result. Did it work? Didn't it work? What? Not being defensive, just looking at the action and the result.
Mm-hmm.
I sent out an email to 1,000 people, 200 people opened my email. That's 20% open rate. Okay, how do I get it to 25? What do I need to change in order to get it to 25?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another one. It's a tricky one. I sent an email to 1,000 people. 3 people opened my email. Why is it tricky? Because our egos and our minds are going to say, is because I suck, and because I don't know marketing, and because there's this little voices in our head going, wah, 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 wah. You're not good enough, of sorts.
True.
And
True.
the trick is to say, thank you very much, I get that. Now let's have a look at the real situation here. 3 people out of 1,000, what do I need? Do I need a better subject line to my email? Can you see the connection between the mindset and the business skills? This is a bonus, what I'm going to say now, but I believe that every business problem, that's how I always talk and work and coach business leaders. Every business problem is only one of 2 things. It's either a skill deficiency or an implementation issue. If you don't know how to write email that gets open, then go learn copywriting perhaps. And if you do know how to do that, then let's talk about mindset, and let's ask ourselves, why is it that you know what you need to do and you know how to do it and you're not doing it? It's because there's something going on between our ears, and we're never going to get rid of it. I have it, you have it, all of my mentors have it, and everybody has it, right? And so we need to know how to work with it and take decisive action. That's why I named my company Decisive Action. make a decision. By the way, not only nothing happens until you make a decision, you haven't made the decision until we see some action,
True.
right? So
Absolutely.
you take action and you correct. And by the way, if whatever your business goal is, whatever your goal in general is, there are only two things in the world that are going to prevent you from reaching it. One of them is not taking action. You don't take action, you don't hit your goal. The
True.
other one is not correcting along the path, not correcting your course. Because if I take action and my goal is to reach the microphone and I go there and I correct and I keep going and I correct and I keep going and I correct, I'm going to hit the camera. That's it. There's the only two things that are going to prevent me is not taking action or not correcting along the path. That's it.
Wow.
Right? And the last thing, which is equally as important, is the delivery phase. And the delivery phase is when you have completed. Now, in order to do that, then you need during the design phase to understand and define what does it look like when it's complete. Because otherwise, you're going to get to the station and you're going to keep going. And when you don't know what complete looks like, and when you don't know when you reach your destination, you're never going to reach any destination. And that's bad. Why is it bad? Because reaching your destination is what refuels you. Reaching your destination is what gives you the fulfillment of having fulfilled the purpose as expressed by a project. And if you don't have that for too long, then after a while, you start being frustrated. Like you're working and working and working and nothing happens. Well, many times the feeling that nothing happens comes from the fact that we haven't defined well enough the destination, so we didn't realize the progress, we didn't realize the success. So in the delivery phase, that's the completion. That's when you celebrate. That's when you acknowledge yourself that you have completed something. And that is when you go right back into discovery, going, okay, well, I completed that. Some of you may know Sri Kumar Rao. He is a professor of business
Right.
in, I believe it's Harvard. And he told one of my mentor I met, I had the pleasure to work with Vishen Lakhiani
Yeah, I know.
from Mind Valley for a while. He says, Sri Kumar Rao taught him that. He said, if you created the company and you lost it, the company went bankrupt, you're $1 billion in debt. That doesn't matter, actually. What matters is, did you learn something from that experience? And let's say you started the company, then you made $1 billion and you're a billionaire. Doesn't matter. Did you learn something from it? And so when we complete it, we go right back into discovery and go, okay, what did I learn from the previous cycle? What did I learn from level 37 of the game? What did I learn from what I've just done? And then right back again. Are my values still the same values? Did I discover that I have a different value? No, it's still me, still the same values, still the same life purpose. Okay, well, what's going to be my next project that is going to express that same life purpose? Just like Edison, right? Okay, well, I got the light bulb. There's actually a light bulb in San Jose, California, that has been now running for over 100 years continuously. It's in one of their fire stations. It's a true original Edison company light bulb. And the thing just doesn't die. It refuses to die. As long as there is electricity, it runs. So, but he was done with his project and he said, okay, well, what now? What did I learn? What is the next great thing that I can do to express my purpose, right? So I'm gonna give you, I know we're going over time, please forgive me. I know we're going a little bit over time. I'm going to just conclude with another short story and then ask if you have any questions. So while I'm sharing my story, Please, if you have any questions about your situation, you can put them in the comments so I can answer them. And meanwhile, I'm going to just tell you that next week, I have a mini series, a 5-day mini series that goes in depth into the life design method. It's called the Life Design 2020 Challenge. And we are going in depth into all these steps, and you can actually do with me the exercise so you can come out of this.
Uh,
Yes.
I want to take a feedback from the participants who are listening to us. A few have reported there is no voice. So could someone please tell us that you are able to listen to us? So please put in the comment so that we will come to know that you are still able to listen to us. So uh, TRS, could you please confirm? Suresh, could you please confirm if you guys are able to hear us? Just give us a thumbs up or love or like, or just say yes, and we will come to know that we are audible to you. Thank you so much, Yogesh, for confirmation. Yes, we are audible right now. So at last third minute, there was some issue. So thank you so much, Rita. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you so much. These are awesome
Absolutely.
participants. Yeah.
Thank you for letting us know. So, as I said, for those of you who would like to go through the exercise with me, I'm taking a group through this exercise next week. It's called the Life Design 2020 Challenge, and we are going to go over it over 5 days. It is a free complimentary gift program. You will need to invest your time. So the time that I expect people to invest is between 30 to 60 minutes. And the way that you register to that is you just go to lifedesignchallenge.com and register. So lifedesignchallenge, all one word.com, and that puts you on a landing page where you put in your name and your email address, and you are going to be in. We are going to perform it with, just like this, with Zoom and Facebook.
Yep.
Now, let me share with you what happened last March. Well, last March, I need to share with you, and as you know me a little bit, I am very open. I don't mind sharing anything. There's nothing to hide or to be concerned about. So my business model for the last 5 years was a simple business model. I have 2 workshops a year. Every workshop produces a half a year worth of my revenues. And my workshops are typically in March and October. So I had my workshop lined up for the 16th of March this year of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And when the conversation about sheltering in place, the conversation about working from home, the conversation about stopping traveling started to take momentum in the world, I did just like I shared with you, just like we all go. I went into fear response, and I'm going to power through it. We're so close. I'm just going to do it. The hotel is ready. People are ready. People have booked hotels. People are, because I do it in San Diego, so people have flights to come to San Diego, and I'm just going to basically fight what's going on. And then I caught myself. And then I looked in the mirror, and it was, I think, the 2nd of March or something like that. And I go, hang on a moment. I just canceled myself a conference which I wanted to attend in Los Angeles last weekend because I didn't want to go and expose myself potentially to the risk. How does that play along with my values of leadership and loyalty to ask everybody else to fly to San Diego because it's my program?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that doesn't work. And if I want to be in integrity and congruent with my values, I need to cancel. So I canceled. I canceled my event, my own event. And now I had a crisis because now a half year of my revenue went up like that. So what do you think I did? I did the exact same thing. I sat down, I go, okay, who am I? What do I learn? There's some very concrete things. I learned that, it's probably going to be a good thing if I could set aside a year worth of income ideally just as a buffer to, because we don't know what's going to happen. All right. I had a buffer, but that buffer was much smaller, certainly smaller than a half a year. So could I have anticipated it? Probably I could, because of my business model, which has 2 points, 2 critical points a year. But I learned that, right? Who am I? What are my values? Well, my values are still my values, same values: self-expression, education, leadership, loyalty, creativity, and unity. What is my purpose? Transformation through education. Um, so I made a decision. I made a decision that I keep going. I have a turnaround situation, and I made a decision to help people go online. Why? Because talking to my clients, I realized that a lot of them were understanding that they're going to have to do business from home right now, but they didn't know quite how to do it. In fact, I, I got to the point that I created a whole program called the Zoom Leadership Mastery Program, because it's very easy to put people in a Zoom room and start a meeting, but it's not as easy to make that meeting effective. Because I can ask you, we can do that experiment. And hey, if you've been in a meeting in the last half year and you came out from the meeting saying, oh my God, that was a glorious waste of my time, then just put in the comments, yes, I experienced it. Because people thought that as long as you bring everybody into the Zoom room, we can just do whatever we would do in person. And that's not true. I'll give you a hint. If you want an effective Zoom meeting, you got to have everyone engaged and you have to be clear. Now, the question is, how do you get to do that? So my decision at the time and my design was to shift, because I could have made the decision that, okay, well, I'm going to wait a half a year. I'm going to have a workshop in October, and I'm going to ask that workshop to produce twice the results financially. I could have made that by enrolling twice the people. I could have done that by enrolling the same number of people and doubling the price. I decided that doubling the price doesn't play well with loyalty to my tribe, to my people. So I said, okay, well, I need to do something else. And everybody was vying to understand how to lead good meetings on Zoom, because people didn't get engagement. People didn't get, people didn't like Zoom. People started to invent phrases like, I'm ready to zoom out. And things like that, right? You did, probably even out in India. We all did.
Yeah.
So I did that. I put that into action. I did it. And I completed, now I have the second cohort that is taking the Zoom Leadership Mastery course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helpful to people. And it's done, it's completed, it's running. It can actually run without me in the future, which is great. So I achieved a bunch of things. I helped my people with what was most important to them.
Mm-hmm.
I created another substream of revenue in my business that was different than my normal structure, which was an in-person workshop. And
Mm-hmm.
this is an online course, totally different thing. And I made it work. Well, what did I learn? Well, I learned a lot of things. I discovered a couple of more things that I can do in my business. I discovered that it isn't as bad as I thought, because there was reasons why I didn't want to engage with that type of teaching in the past. I also discovered, and see, here's where the discovery and the debrief is so important, because I completed that. And then if I hadn't done that, I would have such a hard time to get into my next decision. And my next decision was, I'm not even going to ask people to fly in October. So my next in-person workshop is going to be in April. And what I'm going to do in October is I'm going to have my first online version of that workshop, which I never wanted to do it online. I like to be in the room with people, in their energy, understanding them, getting where they are, what they're going through. And with the experience that I gained doing and putting together and delivering personally the first cohort of the Zoom Leadership Mastery, I now have that experience to do that with the Life Design Experience Live, which is the name of the workshop. So I'm saying life design so many times. I'm just going to create some order, and then we're going to answer questions if there's any. But the point of that story was to show you that I went again through the same cycle. It's the same cycle all over again. So order in the chaos. Life design method is the method itself that I curated and formalized and put together over the decades. And mostly at the beginning, it was my experiences, and then I formalized it into this framework. The Life Design Challenge is the 5-day challenge course that's next week. And lifedesignchallenge.com is how you enroll in it. And it's my gift to you and to everybody else who takes it, not just this group. But I like to say that it's especially for you. And then Life Design Experience Live is the workshop, so don't worry about that. That's different. That's in October.
All right. Thank you so much. First of all, Yoram, before we proceed for the question answer session, let me take a minute and summarize whatever you have brought for us. The one thing which I really like from you, that was the life design method. I would love to call it as vitamin D of business. Won't it sound perfect? It has got 5 Ds. What all are those 5 Ds? Even I can read on the screen. This is discover, decide, design, do, and deliver. Boom. Once you will do that, once you will understand this framework, you will understand how you can design your life itself. And in the shortest span of time, by using some amazing story from your IT background life, when you opened up your own company, you were working for that, and the Twin Towers story, and how you totally came into entrepreneurship journey, adding continuous value in people's life. And just now you shared one last story with us, and along with that, giving this entire community this what is the website name? It's livedesignchallenge.com. Is that right? So by going over there, all of you people who are watching us live, you are watching Yoram live, you can learn from Yoram by registering yourself, and that is going to be free for this community. As Yoram has said, he is really humble enough, and he is really kind enough for us and for this group especially, who is giving his 5 days challenge just for free. And every day 30 minutes or 60 minutes, he said that he's going to deliver value to you once again in your life. Having said that, what the gist Yoram has brought in his talk is about taking action when you are going towards the goal, and taking action, taking decision. And how do I call it every time, Yoram, to our community, that this is your dream and this is your destiny. To touch your destiny, there is a small thread which connects both the dots, and that is called as decision. And when you apply this small thread between your dream and destiny, definitely you are going to hit it. So I would like to call each one of you with name, and when I say that third word, you are going to call it as your name, and that I call it as hit it and take your name. Hit it, Gaurav. Hit it, TRS. Go ahead and register yourself with Yoram's 5 days free workshop. And this is going to be amazing. I know his energy. I know the kind of integrity and value and the quality he has talked about. These are simply awesome. Why I can connect? I have also the similar background in IT industry. I know what all the values he is talking about. So that's why I can connect with that, and I can advocate his program as well. And why I'm advocating his program? It's just because even I am on a mission to touch base 100,000 people to have a wonderful smooth life, so that even you can experience the immunity. And for me, immunity is your freedom. So now we are open for question answer session. I want to invite each one of you to ask for some question. So Bhavesh says, Bhavesh is one of participant and he's one of my student. He says that already registered, Yoram. So he has registered. Congratulations, Bhavesh, for that. That's super awesome to know.
Welcome aboard. You're going to love it.
Yeah. And yeah, so we are inviting you for some question. And Bhavesh only asked us that what he is going to learn in these 5 days. So if you could just brief us about that.
Yes. So in the 5 days, we are going to go deeper into the cycle of the decisive action. Of the life design method. And what we are going to do is I am going to give you specific exercises with which you can work out the answer to all of these questions. Specifically, how do you find and verify and make sure that what you think that your values are your values? Now, we believe in a lot of values, for example, right? Because I mentioned integrity a couple of times, but you would have noticed that it's not one of the 6 values that I keep saying and repeating, which are self-expression, education, leadership, creativity, loyalty, and unity.
Wow.
Why is that? Is because I went back through my life and I went back to look for the simple way to verify everything is to always ask the question, how so? How so? Okay. And I recognized that these 6 values, I have been most consistent about spending my time, my energy, and my money in order to express them than anything else. And so even though I appreciate motherhood, I appreciate family, I appreciate integrity, I appreciate honesty, and I will do my best to express them, my top value, which I capped at 6, no more than 6, like these are the 6 that you would choose over anything else, and they're going to be different. So there are exercises to do that. There are exercises to actually come out with your life purpose. Now, life purpose sounds like you have to go to a monastery at the top of the mountain and be dressed in orange for the next 10 years, and then suddenly you're going to get enlightened with your life purpose. No, it doesn't have to take that long. And it doesn't have to be that extensive and that much of an effort, right? So we are going through practical exercises to decide for yourself your values, your life purpose, what this project is, who you need to become, what you're going to do to make it happen. I will show you how to create your action steps going forward in order to start the business, in order to turn the business around. I will show you the exercises on how you can start talking and describing your products or services or projects so that people want to help you, so you enroll people in purchasing it, right? So I will go over that. Now that's a lot, but it just goes in layers, because what I described to you in what is an hour today, now I'm going to have 5 hours to work with you over next week, and we can go deeper and wider and start anchoring you in how to do that, so you can learn how to do that more on your own in the future. So that's what we are going to learn next week. And I've seen another question saying, can anyone join? And the answer is yes. Feel free to invite your guests and friends if you like. Yes, absolutely. I'd love to have them in the program.
There is one more question, by the way, Yoram. One question says that, can 11 years old boy or kid can join? So you can answer that.
Well, the answer is yes, they can join. However, number one, okay, so there's two things for you to consider. Number one is language. So you've heard me for an hour, and you can even go and take the recording and play the recording to the 11-year-old. And if they're comfortable with that, then they can handle it. And then the second thing is whoever is the responsible adult for that 11-year-old needs to be in on that and in agreement, because that's the kind of world we live in. There's some sort of an agreement that people who are under 18 need somebody to help them make their decisions, and then suddenly when they're 18 and a day, then suddenly they're smart. I don't subscribe much to that, but I know that that's how it works. So other than that, from my perspective, if an 11 years old wants to join the program, he or she are welcome, and I would actually love to see how that would play out.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to quickly summarize it again, that what Yoram said, that yes, 11 years old can attain that, and parental guidance is required as well, because and he would love to see that how it goes to that 11 years old kid, and that is definitely will
Yeah.
be great to educate someone who is just growing. So yeah, definitely I would recommend and advocate on these kind of training to each one of you and each one
Oh
of the
God.
kids.
You
Yeah.
know, if I had that kind of education when I was 11 years old, struggling to prove myself in university, uh, there's a whole lot to that story, because they sent me to university. They actually didn't figure out that being a genius is just a potential thing. So you can't take a genius kid and throw them into the situation. They need some help.
Mhm.
And so I had to kind of like figure it out on my own and get my own bearings and all of that. And if I had all that life design method when I was 20, it wouldn't have taken me 30 years to become a coach full time.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
yes, and I see a couple of technical questions. Somebody asked me if I live in, I actually live in San Diego, California. So I'm not sure. I might have said something to mislead you.
Uh,
I am living in San Diego,
Okay,
California.
okay. So it was me who told them that you are from Arizona first, and Arizona, the US. I don't know how did it reach to me, the Arizona, but yeah. So just now the correction.
I
Uh,
must have said something.
okay, he's from,
And
yeah. So
I'm from San Diego in California in the USA.
okay,
And
so
then
I hope
um,
everyone is clear now. San Diego, California. Okay, so
it's not that far.
yeah.
Bhavesh is asking, what will be the timing? So this is something you can do on your own timing. However, I will be live at 10 o'clock in the morning. It comes out to be rather late your time, 10:30 p.m. in India. But you don't have to be live with me. That's number one. And I don't know what is the culture like.
So
It could have been much worse. It could have been 1 a.m.
So where I stay in India, people tend to sometimes, few people tend to, stay longer at night for different kind of activities, learning, watching TV, or whatever other activities. So yeah, so in case you are in India, Yoram is going to come around 10:30 p.m. IST. You can watch him or catch him live, but in case timing does not suit, you can watch the replay, right?
You can watch the replay, and you can actually just work with workbooks, because there are going to be workbooks as opposed to today when it was just one slide and a lot of me talking.
Mhm. True.
I'm out of tea.
Ah,
I need more tea now.
yeah, oh
Hang
my
on a
God.
second.
Yeah, yeah, please. So
I
actually,
know.
my
At
daughter is
least I have a bottle of water.
definitely, definitely. By the time Yoram is sipping his water, so just to inform that Bhavish, as you had attended my 2 days workshop, that is HMBW virtual, that is coming tomorrow again, Saturday, Sunday. This is not a free program. This is a paid program, but people have registered. They are watching you live, Yoram, and they are going to further learn with me tomorrow and day after tomorrow. That's gonna be full day, Saturday, Sunday, power packed, energizing session. They are learning with me. And as you said, that decision and taking action, these were the people who took the action, who decided to, show up. And I have guaranteed some amazing result within 2 days. So even they would be joining you from Monday onwards. It's gonna start from Monday, right? Our Monday.
Yes, it's going to start on Monday, and these people are lucky. These people are
Yeah.
lucky for two reasons. Number one is I know how great of a teacher you are. And
Thank you.
I've
Thank you.
heard you speak, and I heard how you deliver your messages. And wow, 2 days. And
Yeah.
you know how the transformation starts the moment they register. So
Wow.
they're well on their way because they have made a decision of what is where they're going. They have made a decision to grow, and they have made a decision. They have chosen you to teach them and be their guide along that journey of growth over the weekend. So congratulations to whoever does that, and I'm sure you're in for a great enlightening weekend of growth and development. So
Definitely, definitely. Yeah,
it's
even I would
awesome.
like to clap for that. And whoever are watching, if you are one of them, what you are going to do along with Yoram and me, and Yoram, me and you are going to give each other a virtual high five saying that I am a winner, I'm a lucky. Yes, I am winner, I am a lucky. This is a small,
Woo! I'm a winner.
yeah, yeah. Amazing,
Yes.
amazing. Great energy. Yes, yes, Yoram,
Fist
please.
bump.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So
Yes.
10:30 p.m. is okay for TRS. And yes, Bhavish, your question has been answered. What else, guys? What else? So any other question? Now Yoram is open to answer your question. So we had chosen the topic, scaling your business to the abundance. We have few minutes. I think Yoram has caught his tea. I am not sure yet. So what
I
you are
got
going
my
to do?
water.
Okay, you caught your water. Okay, fine. So you have few minutes. You can ask him question. Okay. So please ask, shoot some question, and we are happy to handle. We are happy to answer. Yeah. So any question, TRS, Kamal, Bhavish, Rajni, whoever are watching us live, you can ask us. Okay. So we are happy to help you to answer your query towards scaling your business to the abundance. Yeah, please bring it on, guys. Bring it on. Okay. So if no question, any gentleman or ladies, you can be kind enough and you can just type into the chat window NQ. NQ means no question. Or in case you have a question, please type your question. We will answer. So we will wait for a few seconds. So whoever will enter either NQ or some question, we are going to, proceed accordingly, either to wrap up or either to continue. So yeah, please, 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 we are waiting. So yeah, so one question from Rajni is this: does your training also help in personal life or only in business? So before Yoram could answer Rajni, let me tell you that Yoram has one very fundamental good principle. It says that all the core principle, all the principle of life depending on one core. And as I am assuming he is going to hit the core, so definitely on personal relationship, on personal stuff also, you are going to get benefited. But I'm giving to Yoram to add something on this. Yeah, please, Yoram.
Yes, absolutely. So here is what I believe about coaching. There is all areas of life are interconnected, and there is no difference between business and life. So the answer, first of all, direct your question, is absolutely 100% unequivocally yes, it helps in personal life in exact same way that it'll help in business. And number two is I don't even accept the separation between business and life. When you
True.
start talking to me and knowing me a little bit deeper, then we have one life.
Yeah.
And our life doesn't sit inside of my business, of our businesses. Our businesses sit inside of our lives. Our
Mhm.
relationships sit inside of our lives. Our health is part of our lives. So one life, all areas of life are interconnected, and the method that I'm going over next week is going to help with all of it. Yes.
Yeah. So I would
Um,
say, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying
Now,
something?
there was another question that I've seen about relatives in Las Vegas. Yes, they can all join this. Anyone that you would like to recommend, the 5-day Life Design 2020 challenge is welcome.
Yeah.
Just send them the link, have them register, and I'll be ecstatically happy to have them on board.
Yes. So Rita is asking how we can have the recording of 10:30
You are
p.m.
going to get a link by email.
Okay, you are going to get link by email. That's super awesome. And one more thing, like Yoram, you are doing this live design challenge. I had announced inside my community as well that I was to bring 5 days off, not 5 days. Mine was 7 days off. Leap up challenge. So I don't know. So it was to come in the end of September and at the start of October. So that is also going to come. So people who are listening, so be ready for the leap up challenge. Lot many challenges are coming on your way, and be ready to scale up your complete trajectory towards your finances, health, wealth, relationship, business, or career. Having said that, as Yoram has rightly said, that business is the part of your life. Okay, your personal life is also will be impacted by this training in positive way. And take this with one analogy. If body is not well, if the body is not well, and if you are eating some pill, does it mean that one part of body is just getting cured? Does it mean that no, it works on your complete immune system of the body? And that's how these pills also work, which Yoram is going to give you. This is going to work in every area of your life, because I know how Yoram delivers his contents. Those are so super phenomenal. I have witnessed him doing that. And that's why I have brought him on board, and let him offer you guys to this amazing program that's just for free. Okay, so we should be first of all thankful to that Yoram has announced about this challenge. Thank you, Yoram. Yeah. This is Kamal. This is going to be 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. For Yoram, it is going to be his morning, but morning, right, Yoram? It is going to
Yes,
be your
it's my
morning.
morning. I believe it's 10:30 India time, right?
Yeah, it is going to be 10:30 p.m. India time in the evening, at night. Is for Yoram is already morning. For us, it is already setting up time. So this is something like that. So yeah. Any other question, guys? Any other question? So I don't see any further question. So one thing before I get anything else, one thing. Okay, so Bhavesh has, I think Bhavesh has got his answer. He says that he has some relative in San Diego, and he can they join. So as it is going to be live virtually, it is going to happen online, so anyone can join that. And before we proceed, before we end this call, one thing, the whatever concept you have brought in front of us, I want you to just tell in one line that what exactly message, if you want to deliver to this community, to these members who are listening to you live, what one mantra, one message you will give it to them, please. It's not just limited in one word or something. You can go on and tell.
Okay, I'll do that. Meanwhile, just before I do that, I want to make a request. You don't have to do that, everyone. And that is put in the comments what is the most important takeaway that you took from today's presentation.
Yes, yes.
And do it even if you're looking at the recording, doing even if we finished and it's after we finished. So the bottom line is when you look at the life design method, which I want to bring it back here.
Mhm.
When you look at the life design method, that method is going to be always available to you no matter what your situation is. And so if you find yourself in a crisis, like I did twice, you heard two stories from my life with crisis, it is the same sequence of steps that we need to take to go through a crisis and be successful. It's the same sequence, and it's the life design method that spells it out. Discover, decide, design, do, and deliver. And that is whether the crisis requires that we start from fresh, or the crisis requires that we fix our situation, or maybe there isn't any crisis. We can always declare one. But what I mean by that is we can always say, okay, well, I'm deciding that I want to, let's say, grow my business next year, even though it's doing fine and everything's fine. I'm going to treat it as if I was in a crisis because I need to grow, I want to grow. Same story, same method. It'll be applicable anywhere in every place. And while success under a crisis situation might not look as success without a crisis, it is nevertheless a success if you make the best out of the situation. And that's the way to do it.
Definitely, definitely. And yes, Yoram, thank you so much for this summarizing your entire thing. And the one thing, yes, as Yoram has requested, even I would want all of you, if you have liked even a bit of this talk, please everyone go ahead and hit the like button. If you can share this out, you can share it. And if you can comment something, your takeaway, I would highly recommend go ahead and put down your action item and takeaway as well, what you have learned, what you are going to do, how you are going to join this amazing 5 day life design challenge. Do that. And having said that, let me tell you one more thing, and this thing is that these are the opportunity. So always, 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 even few people like Yoram, just to tell you that I do my sales webinar. I ask people at the end to grab some free gift. Okay, so I just give away some free gift. Few people, they don't even identify the free opportunity and they miss it. So we can simply just pray for them that if this is happening for free, you must go ahead and grab this opportunity. This can be something which can completely bring a shift in your life. So that's what I just wanted to add on behalf of Yoram. And yes, guys, so there is no question, and put your comment. What are your takeaways? And yeah, we are looking forward to invite another guest soon, especially for you from my end, and to add lot of value in your life. Hope you are liking it. Hope you are, I'm liking this association with you. You are also liking this.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
keep each other charged up. Yoram, you have anything to add before we just wrap up and end this call?
I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you for inviting me. I want to thank everybody who joined us today live. I want to thank everyone who's watching this as a recording. It's been a pleasure. It is events and opportunities like this that allow me to express my life purpose. Without these events, my life purpose of transformation through education is moot, pointless. I cannot make it happen. So Thank you. And I'll see you next week.
Thank
I
you.
can't
Thank you
wait.
so much. Thank you. And this was amazing. Thank you, everyone. And enjoy your rest of weekend and do with high energy because, as I say, big money, big success needs big energy, and laziness brings poverty. So I want each one of you to keep your energy high, high, and high, and that you are going to get even from Yoram. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yoram. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care and have a super
Thank
awesome
you.
weekend to you too. Thank you. Bye.